Good afternoon, friends. Important clarification by way of circular number 230, dated 10th of September 2024. And this clarification is coming because of recommendation made by GST Council in 54th GST Council meeting. It is pertaining to what would be the place of supply for advertising services provided by Indian advertising companies or agencies to foreign client situated outside India. So whether these are intermediary services or export of services, lot many point which is being clarified by way of circular. Let me open that circular and we will discuss all relevant clarification which is provided by circular number 230. So this is the circular which I'm referring to, and they are providing clarification. So what is the context of this clarification? That advertising services provided by Indian advertising companies or agency to foreign client outside India. There was certain divergent perspective at the field formation. So they are providing clarity by way of circular, and circular is being issued under section 168 of CGST Act. What is the issue? I created one simple terminology that foreign client is approaching to Indian advertising agency for comprehensive services. So comprehensive means that advertising company and agency is now covering all the issues related to advertising services, ranging from media planning, investment planning for the same, creating and designing the content, strategizing the maximum customer reach, identification of media owners who would be publishing that advertisement, dealing with the media owners, procuring media space, etc. So this is inclusive, but the theme line is comprehensive agreement is being entered when foreign client is giving contract to Indian advertising company or agency for displaying and broadcasting or printing. So there may be print media advertisement, there may be electronic media advertisement, including monitoring of progress of the same. So we have to really think of what would be the place of supply. And in this factual position, this advertising agency is going to provide one-stop solution to a foreign client who outsource the entire activity to the agency. Now, if you look at this trail, foreign client is giving comprehensive agreement to Indian advertising company. In turn, Indian advertising company is undertaking lot of services under this comprehensive global agreement from a foreign client. And then they are identifying the media owner in India for providing the advertisement services. So in this given situation, there are two contracts. One contract from foreign client to Indian advertising company, comprehensive advertising services, wherein Indian advertising company going to raise the invoice to the foreign client. Another contract is between media owner, let's say Times of India, for understanding of easy example. So media owner is Times of India, and who would be undertaking advertisement, and then in turn raising invoice to the Indian advertising company or agency. So there are two contracts. Now, in this given context, we have to really understand what are the issues as on date and how it is being clarified. Let's go down further. There are three questions which is being mentioned in this circular. The first issue could be whether this advertising agency, Indian advertising agency, can be considered as intermediary. When I'm saying intermediary, you'd be recalling what is the definition of intermediary under Section 2, subsection 13 of IGST Act. Intermediary means who arranges or facilitate supply of goods or services or both. Now you have to really understand in the comprehensive contract wherein advertising agency undertaking number of services pertaining to advertising, which is being given by foreign client to Indian advertising company. Are they really behaving like intermediary, or they are providing services at principal to principal basis on their own account? And why it is important? If it is on their own account, principal to principal basis, then they are not intermediary. And why we have to conclude? Because we have to determine place of supply. And that is the reason this issue is important. So while going through the detailed comprehensive agreement, which would be the underlying document to understand, and thereby we can conclude that Indian advertising company or agency is not intermediary, because they are undertaking main services and they are providing from their own account principal to principal basis. So they are not intermediary. So this is what the first clarification which is being resolved. And I have clearly said that there are two agreements. One agreement, foreign client giving comprehensive agreement, signing comprehensive agreement with the Indian advertising company. And in turn, Indian advertising company is signing contract with the media owner, Times of India. And there are two invoices in turn. Media owner raising invoice to Indian advertising company or agency, and Indian advertising company or agency raising invoice to the foreign client. And why it is important from the context, if this Indian advertising company is intermediary and place of supply as per Section 13, subsection 8, clause B of IGST Act for intermediary is location of supplier, then this transaction wherein Indian advertising company raising invoice to the foreign client, getting money paid in convertible foreign exchange, if we term them as intermediary, then GST leviable, right? But in this particular circular, they are saying since, and this is important for all of us to know, since they are undertaking their main services on their own account, principal to principal basis, under a comprehensive agreement, they are not intermediary. So place of supply as per Section 13, subsection 8, clause B is being ruled out. So that is what they are concluding in the issue number 1. This is what they have concluded. So this is what I have explained, which is being provided. Now, issue number 2, that the representative of foreign client in India or the target audience of the advertisement in India can be considered as recipient of the service. Who is recipient in this case? Foreign client? Or you may say that foreign client is having a particular brand. I'm just creating a brand. Let's say LG is a brand, international brand. And LG is undertaking a global agreement with any Indian advertising company, wherein this LG is also selling the product into Indian market. So maybe the LG has got their related party or subsidiary in India, but contract is with the LG Korea with the Indian advertising company. It is for sake of an example. I'm not meaning these company, but for the sake of example, I'm explaining by way of putting the name therein. So LG is an international brand, global agreement, comprehensive agreement, given to any Indian advertising company, and they are making advertisement through media owner. Separate contract, comprehensive agreement, principal to principal basis, on their own account. That is what Indian advertising company is undertaking, raising invoice to the LG Korea, foreign client outside India. Now, only point which is doubtful and the field formation is creating dispute. Field formation means some of the GST department, including DGGI. They are saying, no, this advertisement of LG which is being made, it is also helping LG India, subsidiary company in India. Or it is also helping because these advertisement is watched by the Indian customers. So recipient of service would be either LG India or customer base in India. That is what the contemplation. Can we say that? But to determine who is a recipient of service as per section 2 subsection 93, who is liable to pay consideration, quid pro quo, contract with the foreign client, LG Korea. Now, LG Korea is paying the amount to Indian advertising company. They are liable to pay consideration. LG India is not paying any consideration. Even the customer base in India watching the advertisement, they are not paying any consideration. So who would be the recipient of service in this case? The circular is laudable and clarifying recipient of service would be foreign client outside India, which is LG Korea. So these examples which I'm picking up or name which I'm putting in my video only for the sake of an example. So this is what coming out. Foreign client would be recipient of service. So second issue is being resolved. Now third issue, can we say that this services, advertising services provided by this Indian advertising company or agency is related to performance based under section 13 subsection 3 of IGST Act? What is performance based? Simple, when recipient is making goods available to the supplier for a particular performance under section 13 subsection 3 clause A. Is there any goods? There's no goods. No goods. If we go back to section 13 subsection 3 clause B, which talks about performance. So services are either supplied to an individual, there's no such case, or represented either as the recipient of service or person acting on behalf of recipient. This is also not available, not applicable. Or we are required physical presence of recipient or person acting on his behalf. That is also not applicable here. So neither of the provision 13 subsection 3 clause A or B is applicable. This is what the third issue got clarified. They are not intermediary because they are providing services on their own account, main service provider, principal to principal basis, Indian advertising company. Second, who is recipient? Foreign client outside India. Is it performance based? No, it is not performance based. Having said that, now what would be the conclusion? They are saying place of supply then going to be determined by default provision under section 13 subsection 2 of IGST Act, which is location of recipient. So what is location of recipient? Foreign client outside India. So if all the condition as prescribed under section 2 subsection 6 of IGST Acts towards export of services, then it is called export of services, meaning thereby advertising services provided by Indian advertising company or agency under a comprehensive agreement to a foreign client outside India, it's export of services under section 2 subsection 6 of IGST Act. So what are the conditions need to be satisfied? 5 conditions. Supplier is in India, which is Indian advertising company. Recipient, location of recipient is outside India, foreign client. Place of supply, we have concluded under section 13, subsection 2, location of recipient, foreign client, outside India. Money is coming in convertible foreign exchange, suppliers getting paid in convertible foreign exchange. And supplier and recipient are not merely establishment. Thereby, it is concluded it is export of services if all these conditions are satisfied. This is the first part which is clarified in this circular. Now coming back to the second part. And this is interesting, to understand. Of course, we have created this trail, leaving the first portion, whatever we have discussed. Now, in second scenario, there could be that foreign client is having contract with the media owner, Times of India. And this media, Times of India, raising invoice to the foreign client. So this advertising agency is not under comprehensive agreement. They are only arranging or facilitating. So they are providing facilitation services. So here invoice is different. Media is raising invoice to the foreign client, and agency is only facilitating advertising services. And to their portion, they are raising the invoice to the foreign client. So just to understand in a better way, I'm just picking up one example. Let's say in the first case, media cost is $100. Media cost is $100. And $10 was the fees, the charges, which is charged by Indian advertising company. So $10 invoice raised to the foreign client for a comprehensive agreement. So for comprehensive, we have said it is export of services. Under section 2, subsection 6. What is the difference in the second scenario? $100 invoice is directly raised by media to foreign client. So agency is raising only invoice for the $10 for their own charges, and they are only facilitating. In that case, what would be the scenario? In that case, the circular is saying that Indian advertising agency going to be intermediary. And if they are intermediary, then quite obvious, the place of supply going to be location of supplier as per section 13, subsection 8, clause B, and it will not be export of services. So this differentiation is being created from the first comprehensive contract versus agency, only the facilitation. Now, this circular is clarifying broadly the two broad proposition. As an Indian advertising company or agency, you need to look at either you are under comprehensive agreement or you are into agency agreement. The question which is still remain unanswered in this circular is what happened for the media cost? For the media cost, of course, media is raising invoice to the Indian advertising company $100, and in turn they are raising $100 invoice to foreign client. And for agency $10, there's a separate invoice, though it is under comprehensive agreement. Can it be intermediary? The circular is saying no. Comprehensive means taken all together. Composite supply, export of services. So $10 will not have any differentiation. $110 will be comprehensive for the comprehensive agreement, treated as export of services. We can't have bifurcation under comprehensive agreement. So we have to look at our own factuals, the underlying contract, how our contract is talking about. If we say no only for media costs, it is export, and for agency, it is intermediary, it is contradicting the position when we are talking about comprehensive agreement by foreign client to Indian advertising company. So we have to look at and watch our own contract, and then accordingly, we need to determine the taxability, applicability of provision, whatever discussed in this circular number 230, dated 10th of September 2024. I hope it will help in your professional endeavors and a good clarification by CBIC. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Lot many. Thank you very much.